and she ball out. But it's she did prefer. And as she spend your money and send go a private school. Guys, welcome back to That Barefoot Girl. We're having fun in this space, right? Yeah, man. Glad you could stop by. You didn't have to, but you're spending some time with me. I'ma love it. Me appreciate it. Today, I really have a subject or a topic that is not really all that pleasant, but is a reality. Enough of us can relate to it. Look here. If you grew up in Jamaica, and I think, I'm not going to say it's only Jamaica, but I don't know if anywhere else, right? So I have to speak about what I know. So growing up in Jamaica, sometimes some parents and grandparents actually prefer one grandkid to the next, or one child over the next. Allow me to tell? No, imagine you have siblings and you live in one household and everything, and you have your parents, whether your both parents or a single parent home, whichever. But sometimes, I don't know if you have experienced this, but sometimes the parent actually prefers your sibling over you, or you over your sibling, and sometimes they show it, especially grandmothers and maybe grandfathers too. But grandparents tend to, I don't know if it's you get older, so you're just oblivious to people's feelings, or so. I don't know. It could be a number of things. But in general, I think the grandparents, they don't hide the fact that they prefer one grandchild over the next. And everybody just have to go live with it. Where you gonna do? You can't change old people, you know. But for the person that's going through that, it usually hurts. No, you know why this thing came up? I was reading my quarterly for my morning Bible study, and we're reading Genesis. And in chapter 37, I mean, a lot of mix up going, you know, but in chapter 37 is where they were talking about how Joseph was his dad's favorite child. Now, normally in Jamaica, the first child and the last child kind of have some clout, you know. Him are the first one, you know, the first grandchild. And a lot of times, grandparents especially, they really have a preference for their first grand. Okay. And also the last one, which in Jamaica, that last child is the one we call the wash belly. So sometimes the wash belly gets spoiling, and sometimes the firstborn gets spoiling. And usually the spoiling is from the grandparents, because usually the parents, they're busy with the task of raising the kids and providing for them. So a lot of times parents don't really have no time for spoil nobody. Bills that kill them. But grandparents will take on the spoiling, and nothing wrong with some innocent spoiling in terms of you love them and you show your affection, and you know, you save up for your mango for them and keep it for them and them kind of things there. You know, that kind of way there. And not no outer order spoiling. But this takes place and we see that, and that's kind of fine, right? That's fine. But I think it's fine if you spoil all your grandkids. Then that's when it's fine. If it's just one child you'll do that for and not do it for others, then that's no fear. Jackal said a ground level. But we see that too often, and a lot of adults now can recall situations like that where another sibling or a cousin was preferred over them, especially by the grandparents. And not to come down too hard on the grandparents, because a lot of times they're working with what they know. And sometimes that's how they were treated or they were raised. And they don't even see anything wrong with that. So that's why usually the grandparents don't hide it. You're going to know who the favorite is and just deal with it. So for the other siblings around, that can be a problem. They can feel less than. They can actually start having some resentment for that preferred child. And we see that perfectly in, like I tell you, I was reading Genesis. So Joseph brother them trip him naked and throw him down in the pit. Blood up him pretty coat when father make fee because of him and have the coat. Mind you, he wasn't the wash belly and he wasn't the firstborn, but he was being treated kind of like that, right? Special privileges. Him just close to him father, and father really love him. I kind of think it had something to do with how much his father really loved his mother, right? Joseph's mom. But come back to the story. In our real life, we can see that, or we could see that while we were growing up, right? And sad to say, sometimes this is still happening to kids. And then something they need for cut out, because it leave a sore spot, it leave a lot of hurt, and it make the kids them on the other side build up resentment for this preferred child. So it's not something good for adults to do. I mean, we should know better than that, right? I remember overhearing a conversation. Actually, it wasn't really a conversation, but I remember overhearing a conflict of where an adult child, married and living on her own, was talking to her mom. And it's in Jamaica, and they were outside the front of the yard, and it got into an argument. And whatever the topic was, this adult child, was letting the mom know, well, I don't care, because she's the one you prefer, and she's the one where you spend your money and send go to private school. And says sending a kid to private school anywhere is usually an expense. So if back in the day you send your child to private school, what is a special effort you make? And imagine it's not only one daughter you had, but yet still that daughter is now spilling this out, because obviously she's been feeling all of that all these years, and now was a chance. She got a chance to just bust open. She was an adult now, she could speak her mind, and in no uncertain manner she was letting her mom know whatever, because there's some resentment in her even to that day as a grown woman. Because sometimes these wounds that we create by hurting people, sometimes willfully, and sometimes you don't even realize that's what you're doing, but the scars are still there, and people carry them throughout their whole life. So we have to be careful, because them something I fear. People with a walk around with all kind of resentment, I feel less of some all kind of complex. Yeah? And sometimes the reason too why these adults will claim why they prefer one child over the other, especially with mothers, it's because they might prefer this child over the next, because the children might have different fathers, and the mom might have loved this father, or this father might have been the one that really cared for her and spend the money and take care of everything. So she kind of shows some preference to this child. It's like this is a love child. On the other hand, some parents will dislike the child or show preference to another child and not this other child, because this other child looks like her dad. And guess what happened? She no longer liked the dad. She was in love with him. And you know how life happens and things happen. And usually if the mom is hurt, she take it out on the child and don't make the pitney favor and papa. It done. Cause that pure cousin you ever get, every time she look upon you, you look like the father. and she not like you because she can say I see him in a you. We're not to do that. We're not to do that. Parents, moms, adults, don't do that. And who used to say this? This older lady me know used to say the pin in them did they safe in Joseph bosom and you got trouble him. And now you bring him come on this earth and you got treat him that way there. Him or her. No man, consider these things. You can't take the man fat and fry the pitney. Separate the issues. You can't throw out the baby with the bath water, right? If the man hurt you and the man was rotten, your love for your child should overpower that. But sometimes we don't see it. It doesn't happen that way. So I guess it's a process. And even though some people might still, up until this day, don't believe in therapy, it sounds like you need some therapy. If that is the case, right? Because again, I say you cannot take the man fat and fry the picnic, right? Because you rear up children who have baggage, right? They have baggages carrying into their relationship and their, when they become a mother or a dad, they carry that over. You can't do that, man. Fair is fair. You try your best and treat all your kids equally. Mind you, I do know 7 brothers, 7 different minds, right? So sometimes you have some kids, you'll find a little one kid here who is so attentive to you. When the other one them gone, he or she stick by your side. You can send them down the street, go get something for you. If you get something at the store, if you want a cup of water, he's there or she's there. You can call and they'll bring it to you. Just a caring, loving child. So you're drawn to that one. But don't show this as no preference. It's gonna be all bad all around. It's not good. It is not good, because the kid who you show the preference to, many times they become so spoiled and they begin to take you for granted, and they begin to feel like they're privileged, or they have something over the other kids, or I can get away with A, B, C, or D, and they become mean, selfish, start mischief because they know they're not going to get in trouble, because the blame is always going to be on somebody else. So the parents have to set the precedence, right? There is not a lot that even parents can do to grandparents in terms of making them stop showing preference to a particular grandchild. Older folks, what just pick your battles. Not all that you can do, but what you can do is reinforce how special that other child is and let them know that they're inclusive. They and their brothers and sisters are so beautiful and they can do anything they put their mind to, and I'm so proud of you, and speak in the same light with all your children. You build powerhouses. I have a friend and she is not a parent, but she was just a few years older than her sister, right? And ever since she had her baby sister, and her baby sister could talk and walk around with her, that young child knew to put it in her younger sibling that you are so beautiful. Oh, you're so pretty. Oh, you're so pretty, and everything. She would just rave about her little sister. I don't know where she got that sense, but I think it came out of just the love that she has for her sister. And even at that young age, she loved her so much, and she just proclaimed all kind of positive things over her and just tell her, oh, she's just so nice and beautiful and pretty, and just show her all of that. I think that is one of the reasons why this young lady now, the smaller sibling, is a powerhouse. Understand me? Positive speech. We have to be careful of what we say over our kids. And we have to be careful of how we treat them. And stop treating one picnic better than the next. For various reasons. You look like your papa. You're coming like this like your papa. Hello? Wasn't it the same papa you the crazy over? Look here. A lady tell me say her mom did tell her, say what? You coming like drunk or like your papa. Then she lost her pass and go say, how far never me tell you if you got there with drunk or. She have to run. Run. But she answer her mother. And them time they are old school mother, you know. So you know it go. Because that grown woman tell me this. But you draw these things out of the kids. Can I pick them the most begs? They have feelings. You ever hear about the stone that the builder refused? Can end up being the head cornerstone. Be careful how you treat your children. Sometimes the one that you spoil and the one that you preferred and the one that you gave all the privileges to while ignoring the other kids. That same spoiled one, don't pay any attention when you get older and need them. They're so used to being the center of attraction and you killing yourself to do everything for them and to treat them and to pamper them. They don't even realize that it's time for them to give back to you because they've been self-absorbed and selfish because everything was always about them. Now that's you sowing the wind and reaping the whirlwind. Don't create a monster. And that one that you used to ignore becomes the head of the corner. Sometimes it's that same one have to be there with you, rally around you, take care of you because your self-absorbed spoiled one gone. So do not do this. You as parents or adults in the family who are raising these children, you have the power to create a loving environment where the kids feel empowered. Just feed them with love and be mindful that you're going to love on each of them. Don't let it be said later on that they could clearly see that you prefer that one and you did that for that one as opposed to doing it for all of them or whoever else was in the household. So you don't want that on your conscience, my dear. So take it easy and be careful how you treat them. Don't have this preference business. If that is the case, sad for you. Keep it to yourself. The kids don't need to know. What we do today? We're loving our kids. I know some of us out there are hurting from wounds that were created by this kind of behavior by adults around us for reasons oblivious to us. We don't know, but yet still you might be going through something like that. Then now you have to learn to heal from that, to forgive, to breathe, maybe go get therapy if you need to, but you have to learn to let it go so that you can be free and live. So you see how them put this thing for you, you know, do not and them put it for you because of their issues or their expectations or things that they've been through. It's not a win-win situation at all. It's a lose-lose situation. So hopefully if you have experienced something like this, you're healing from it and you're able to let it go because it's not easy. The power is oftentimes in our hands. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for checking out That Barefoot Girl. Once again, share the video, share the link. Make sure you hit that like button if you like the content, right? And join the conversation. Let's converse. Let's talk. Share your experiences. I love it. Until we meet again in this space, That Barefoot Girl. Peace.